Hey, Daniel, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it for you and I to get together again.
Good morning, Teddy. Good to
Yeah.
see you again.
So, for those that don't know me, I'm Teddy Burris. I'm a LinkedIn strategist, and my good friend Daniel Lobb. Daniel, introduce yourself to the group.
Good morning, Teddy. Good morning, team. Daniel Lobb here with TRP Enterprises. TRP, totally responsible person. That is a mindset that we teach in our business training programs.
Yeah. So look, we chatted the other day, and you said you used two words with me in a conversation. I'm like, oh my golly, that is so powerful. The combination of these two words is so powerful, and I thought it made sense for us to talk about a little bit more and share it with others. The two words were simply persistence and patience.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, they are two very purposeful words, but you put them together, and I believe they amplify each other in a very significant way.
Well, thank you, Teddy. What was going on in my head thinking about those words, because they're coming to my mind a lot right now as we're in this transition period of figuring out what is the new normal. I don't believe we're in the new normal yet. I think that's going to be something we're getting to, right? But the last couple of months, my business, like many other businesses, has gone through quite a rocky road. What we do is a lot of face-to-face training programs. And so now all that's shifting to virtual. So a lot of things that we had on the books, had scheduled, ready to go, we've postponed. So that requires me to be very patient, waiting for these projects, because it's really out of our hands. We're just kind of waiting for things to align again. But I also had to be persistent in pursuing those opportunities and not letting them just fall off of the priority list because we can't do them right now. So I find myself walking that fine line of looking for the balance of being patient as the process unfolds, but also sticking to it, hanging in there and not just saying, well, there's nothing we can do right now. We got to figure out what we can do.
Right. Yeah, that's important. So look at the word persistence in the context of business, career, life. I mean, persistence really does have structure to it. How would you define the structure of the word persistence? And what is it not?
Yeah, so to play on the theme of the P words, Teddy, if I may,
I'm good with
it's not pestering, to use a word that you used with me, because your persistence means that I'm committed to whatever the goal is. So if the goal is getting a project done, we know we're going to get it done, and I've got to follow that goal. So I think it has to do with clarifying what is it that we're being persistent about? What is the end result that we want, and how do we keep marching towards it?
Yeah. I remember that I studied an old dead guy, Dale Carnegie, and oh no, wait, here I'm going to use another analogy. I also studied Sandler's sales training.
Okay.
And in Sandler's sales training, they taught me a thing called upfront contract. Now, let me define that in the context of persistence. In an upfront contract, and I'm going to say to you that, this is what my expectations are now. I want to make sure that your expectations align. This is the amount of time that I have now. I want to make sure you have that amount of time. And then as a part of that, I also will say to you at some point in the conversation, Daniel, my expectations are for you and I to talk a week, 2 weeks, or a month from now. Are you good? Which one's the right thing for you? So that I know up front what you are expecting, and up front what I'm going to do, so that I'm persistent based on what we agreed on, but I'm not going to be pestering.
Yeah, I like the way you define that, Teddy. Really putting clear expectations on our communication time frame.
Yeah. So, and sometimes that persistence might not be between me and you. It might be between me and this other guy that's sometimes hard for me to manage. That would be me. And so for me, persistence is I put everything on my calendar that I know I have to do. I don't care what it is. If I have to do it, it's on my calendar. That's persistence.
Yeah, and managing ourselves through the process. Because I think, talking again about mindset, it's easy, especially in a changing set of circumstances that we're in. It's easy to let all the self-doubt or the procrastination creep in. So nailing ourselves to the wall is important too.
Yeah. So the other side of this whole equation of persistence and patience is another word that sometimes is difficult to achieve as well. And that is to be patient. Put that in some context for yourself.
Patience. I'm going to put this in a more personal context.
Hurry up, Daniel. Hurry up.
All right, easy.
I'm
Don't push me here. But I think patience applies in business. Again, you got to. There's so much for me right now that's a matter of timing. So recognizing that and recognizing that we got a lot of good stuff. Don't lose faith. Don't lose confidence. Be patient with the process. But I think about that personally because I know a lot of people that you and I are both in circles with are homeschooling their kids. They're getting a lot of together time, and they're loving that together time. Just loving it.
Yeah.
And you can see how slowly education creeps along. If you're homeschooling your kids right now, you've probably had enough of algebra, but you got to be patient with the process. I remind myself constantly, I had a lot of great teachers and parents who were patient with me once upon a time. So now I'm getting the chance to really to pay that forward.
Yeah, I get it. And by the way, I another analogy that I can relate to is 23 years ago, I moved from Maryland outside of Washington, D.C., where nothing moved slow.
Yeah.
And I moved to Davie County, North Carolina, in a much calmer environment. And I remember walking in to get my license plates back then. And the lady said, well, it'll take us about 2 or 3 weeks to get it to you, dear. And I'm like, I want it tomorrow. And that's when I realized that I wasn't living a life of patience. And I started thinking about it. And today I've discovered that being patient has helped me do a couple things. One, improve my relationships with the people I work with and live with and have conversations with. And also has helped my blood pressure. Huge.
Well said, brother, and welcome to the South. We're glad to have you here.
Yeah. And I just think that patience also means, again, goes back to expectations. What are my expectations? Yeah. And if my expectations aren't met, why? Here's another picture in that conversation about patience. In today's world, in life in general, I expect somebody to do something in a reasonable amount of time. But what I don't know, especially in this world we're in today, where they're having to homeschool and they're having to take care of other things, and they got they've got other family members they're concerned about and caring about, and maybe they've lost their jobs, so they have other things to worry about that I don't know about. So I'm sitting here with higher expectations, but not understanding the world that they're in, and so I need to learn to pay attention and be patient.
Yeah, Teddy, I like the way you're framing that. The whole idea that we can give ourselves some patience if we give ourselves a perspective, and be empathetic to what's going on with other people, because that really helps us level set those expectations, be more realistic.
There was the third P, dude. Persistence, patience, and perspective.
Perspective. Oh, we finally got it. End of the talking, we got the third P. I love it.
Yeah, man. Really, really. So, Daniel, what other thoughts do you have in this context of the three Ps?
Well, Teddy, I think we just solved all the world's problems. So what can I add to that?
Yeah.
Go out and get some perspective. Be patient while you're looking for that perspective, but persist.
Period. I have nothing further to add, buddy. Daniel, again, I really appreciate the chat, man. We'll say hi another day.
Look forward to it, Teddy. Thanks as always.
Bye.